coming to you live from the village hidden in the chewed up remains of my mother. This is Boku no Podcast, an anime podcast. I'm your host, Nick, here in the studio with
Kenji-san
and Mark.
And guys, this is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. In but a few minutes,
we will give you all of the spoilers you didn't want to hear to season 4. Just kidding.
Like beggars in the desert, our eyes will open up and be drinking deep the water of season 4. We're just gonna be pouring it into us.
It's gonna be pure bliss.
It's gonna wash over me like a wave, and then I'm gonna call my mom and say I'm sorry, and then kill myself.
I still gotta watch the rest of.
Yeah, you haven't seen the egg hatch yet, and I don't know if I've seen the egg hatch.
Is that one of those spoiler words
I think I
shouldn't be
have.
hearing?
Listen, everyone in the anime world is terrified right now. Because if Attack on Titan doesn't do the thing that we need it to do, there won't be any reason to continue living into 2022. And we all know that. 2020 was a year that tested us and pushed us to the edge. And we know that if we don't get this, then there is no hope. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. We can pack it up. We can pack the whole human race up. And we can just say, we had a good run. But bring on the meteor. But yeah, this is the Attack on Titan episode. We're going back to season 1 to
recap.
We're remembering how it all began, man. We're going back to our roots.
How it all started.
We're listening to the first album. We're listening to the mixtape.
We're listening to the debut album.
Back before Attack on Titan got big and lost its way and started hanging with like Green Day and that crowd.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it's just.
Was season 3 poopy?
No, but we just...
Every season gets better, my guy.
Oh, I mean, the way he's talking about it.
No, we've got to lean in on Mark's ignorance.
Yeah, no, I'm
tell
a freshie.
Tell him the whole show's stupid.
Yeah, tell me it sucks. Tell me Attack on Titan's bad. Say it, Nick.
Say it's bad.
Say it's bad.
Say I'm bad and it's bad.
Piss off the internet, Nick.
No, there's definitely some AOT haters out there. One of my close friends, I forgive him over it, but he's one.
I'm an ignorant, up until now, I was an ignorance hater where I was like,
Attack
on Titan doesn't look like it looks cool, but I've heard too many people talk about it, and I'm like, it must be garbage. But I watched it, and
it didn't
stoked on
it. It didn't suck me in like it did for everybody else. I watched the first 3 episodes and then I put it away for 2 years.
Oh shit.
3 years. And
for me, it was going to a con and seeing a guy with the 3D maneuver gear, and I was just like that. He had it was such an elaborate setup that I was like, someone doesn't do something like that for a series that they're not dick deep into.
Yeah. I was a hater at first, though. I was like, fuck this show. It's overrated.
After watching, I was like, oh, it's clear why so many people were into this. Same thing with Demon Slayer, where I didn't think much of Demon Slayer. I think much more of Attack on Titan.
Let's just talk about Attack on Titan.
I'm saying, it's sensational, but it's good.
For me, what got me about it is episode 1, it opens with such Spider-Man shit. It's got such a strong, the first 45 seconds of it, you're seeing these men on horseback. They're scared for their goddamn lives. And I'm like, I'm into that. I love human suffering. I think that's what half of anime fans are in it for, is because you can make cartoons feel so much more pain than you can get away with making regular people feel.
You can definitely measure part of an anime's quality on how brutal or just unforgiving it is as far as especially violence goes.
And I think everyone, we all watch Spider-Man. I think everyone just loves swinging and shit. All of that.
I'm bothered by all of it. It's they can't run that fast. They can't slide. They can't barefoot ski on the fucking ground.
The suit shoots gas out also. It shoots directional gas.
They have
how
canisters.
much fucking gas is in those
They
canisters?
have to change it.
How power... Not that often.
No.
It's
Not-
a constant.
There
What?
is, yeah,
It
They
is a
have to go
constant
back
worry.
for like
They-
gas
they
canisters.
run out of
and
gas
shit.
like once every 3 episodes. You're like, that is like a balloon like gas canister.
How often do characters and things you're watching run out of gas? Like, period, man. How often do people reload their guns?
Just because
or
they-
sharpen their swords?
Okay, just because they reload their shit every once in a while does not mean they are safe from that scrutiny.
Every sword is like a 1 or 2 use sword. They go to such lengths to be like, no, you can't just cut 100 men in half with like the same sword.
Dog, the shit is already so heavy. Like, it's like if they just had those tanks and nothing else, maybe.
They say it's like a terrible strain on
And
your hips.
also, okay.
All of the scouts have to have, they're
No, I'm
genetically
saying-
bred to have
I'm
super
saying that-
powerful hip bones.
It's not about their hip
Don't
bones.
bring
I'm
it
saying
there.
it's about like the air pressure, the capability of air pressure to push someone like
Mark,
that.
I
It's
think
like,
everybody watching this show knows this shit wouldn't work in real life. It's
It
just
bothers
like-
me.
It does bother me
it
too.
bugs me.
I think you'll break your legs as soon as you try to slide while swinging off a 4-story, 8-story tree or building or wall or whatever.
Does also
the fuck.
seem
You
like
would, but not.
Oh, not you?
No, not the
'Cause
not
you're
the,
special.
The scouts. That's why they train, bro. That's what they're here for, because they need to be and they
No,
make
we
a
all
point of
know-
saying that
we
like
all
no one
know how
lasts
ridiculous
in
this
this
is,
game.
though.
They kind of say they're like no one lasts. Yeah, maybe if
Nah.
no one has used the 3D maneuver gear for like 20 years. So it's not like they're like welders or deep sea divers where you can see the toll on their body over the years. It's like the average, once you get given your 3D maneuver gear, you've basically been told you have like 2 years maximum to live.
I mean, I'm not really worried about this physical strain of it. I'm saying in terms of physics, something that heavy and metal with also 2 gas canisters attached to it is not going to push people around like that. It's fucking ridiculous.
But they have hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about that.
Listen, which also require the use of gas to shoot those hooks super far that are made of metal wire that can
That's what it-
supposedly
that's what
support
this-
all of this weight as well. It's like,
That's the
all right,
cans. That's what the gas
Momentum,
canisters are for.
Horsepower. Yeah. Big brain.
Yeah, HP.
momentum is one thing, but
Velocity.
this is also like the middle fucking ages too.
Newtons.
Or it's like the fucking 1700s or some shit like that.
It's the year, I believe, 800.
Even better.
But it's weird
Even-
because there's multiple calendars sort of going on. So we got to get into the setting. The place is Shenanganshima. I always pronounce that name
I love
wrong.
how you said that.
Oh my god, it is such
Like it was a question. Like we were like,
Shiganshina. God, it's a two-handed name.
Is it
but
M or N at the end?
N.
Okay.
It's the first episode is to you in 2,000 years, the fall of Shiganshina. And we're not going to spend too much time on that, but it's crazy that when I say that this is the same team as Death Note, I mean that it's Tetsuro Araki and it is Hiroyuki Sawano, who are the same people who directed the music and directed the direction of Death Note. So they start Death Note on a crazy like 1-2. You get episode 1, you get episode 2, and it's like, are you in or are you out? Where do you stand on this wild shit, you know? And you get that with this because it's just insane. These titans are just big naked people picking people up and eating them. And it's such a like bonkers idea because it's something that you think about. You're like, humans, I've seen humans getting eaten before. I've seen humans in an apocalyptic scenario. I've seen humans living behind the walls. Like our first episode is about fucking Cabaneri. But it's the fact that you're seeing your family get wrecked by this big, dumb, goofy, fat, like lumpy, naked man with no dick. And he's just smiling, looking at you without blinking as he eats your whole family. It's
a nightmarish scenario. The most
it's like
nightmarish.
moving with jarringly like primal or very simple like actions, just like slamming yourself into and out of buildings. That's tight.
You're in like a Barbie doll's idea of hell.
Yeah.
super crazy.
It's like gotta love that shit, man.
I'll try to punch in a clip of that Titan scampering through this.
Like, why do they run with T-Rex arms?
There are so many of them that there's such a diverse range of how the Titans act that it's like you would think the abnormals would look weirder, but they don't. It's not like the weirdness of the Titan is not dictated by the type of Titan. It's literally just a roll of the dice on like how fucking.
No, you don't
weird
think
is
it
this gonna
has.
look.
You don't think it has anything to do with like who they were, like the personality types. Like you don't think.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't know anything about where Titans come from.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool that Isayama. He does like a really good job of spending the time of giving just even random one-off Titans a bit of personality. It's the thing that like separates this from like there are named characters in Naruto who have multiple episodes devoted to them, who have less personality than background Titans in this show.
Than the horses that get fucking thrown.
Right? And so I got to the end of episode 1 and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why did I just watch this kid get his family wrecked? You see Eren watch his mom get eaten. I think that's the hook. That's what got
Most people,
2 million people to go out and buy the manga.
It didn't get me. It just didn't get me for some reason.
Yeah, it's not that crazy to me. It was like, oh damn, but at the same time, what?
I was in when they got over the training arc.
You were into the training arc?
No, after the
training arc.
When they first get into battle. That was when, like around episode 5 was when I like was like, okay, now the show's good.
See, the training arc made me realize that I think I don't like anime for the reason regular people like anime. Because I was watching the training arc and I was laughing my head off at how hysterically angry everyone seemed all the time. This is like a white-knuckled show. Everyone is completely on edge. And in a way that I respect, whenever you're watching like a Transformers movie or whenever you're watching any apocalypse thing, whenever you're watching Japan Sinks or you're watching like Wicked City Shinjuku, I always get freaked out when people are talking even kind of normally. Because if I saw like the sky open up and start yawning demons, I am saying the bare minimum amount of words I need to say to anyone to get shit done. If I tell you, like, get in the car, we need to go, and you don't, I'm either grabbing you and throwing you in the car or I'm leaving you. And this is of like an anime where everyone's acting with like an appropriate amount of post-apocalypse terror all the time.
Even like a slight lapse in like awareness of the situation at any given moment. It's like somebody turns around for half a second, they get creamed. They just get fucked.
Like everyone is as scared as you should be in this. Which is a terrifying level of scare. It's like Russian Cold War, we could be nuked at any point in time levels of fear.
That's even less scary.
I think it is.
I'd rather be nuked to death and melt than like be eaten by a giant person.
Yeah, this does seem like inexplicably terrible.
They've been living like this for 100 years.
In fear.
Behind the 3 Great Walls.
Man, I can't wait to watch more of it.
So you got Wall Sina, Wall Maria, and Wall
Trost.
No, Trost is the city. Wall Rose.
Wall Rose, yeah.
Yeah, Wall Rose is miles upon miles out there. Wall Rose is like
Didn't it fall like way longer?
I thought that Wall Maria was Wall Rose for like the first half of the season. I was like, wow, they're in this tiny ass area. It's like all the human race is here.
That's what I was thinking. You know, it was really confusing at first.
Yeah, they didn't give you a good overview. Like they give you like a diagram, but they never scale it. Like
I was really confused at points when they were back at like Trost and shit. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Well, aren't the Titans like a couple of yards away still?
You all didn't have a canvas map rolled out on a wooden table looking at the...
I did. I just never looked at it.
Yeah,
man.
no, I bought the used collector's edition box set. Sorry.
I did. All my stuff was just blocking the way.
Yeah, somebody took the poster out of it and then traded it in.
Look, this is absolutely an anime for people who have a corkboard filled with conspiracy theories. And I think that's also what got me so hard about this show is that if you're someone whose brain can just fill in blanks with bullshit, this show is crack. There's just so many angles of like you see a Titan and you're like, they're naked because they're people, but they're inside out, so the clothing is on the inside. You start thinking crazy shit like that. You're like, their nape of their neck is the weak point instead of the brain because Titans are actually insects.
I'm just trying to find out what songs each of them have stuck in their head.
Right? Or the fact that
high hopes for a living. Just like fucking
flowing arms.
like freaking out, running around like Brad Pitt and Burn After Reading.
You feel like when they're eating people and it's like, yeah, the Titans just swallow people and then throw them up a few days later. And you're like, that means something. What does that mean? And you've got your journal open and you're like, what does that? They throw them up after 3 days. And you're like, three. The Eye of Michael, the Holy Trinity. And you're just making notes on your wall that maybe mean something, maybe don't.
Nick, I think that's a you thing.
No.
That's not my problem.
I was not watching this. I honestly interpreted that the Titans' existence was totally just like very nihilistic, where it's like, yeah, these things have no function, no use, no purpose. They don't even digest things. They're just kind of agents of chaos.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just agents of chaos.
Yeah, they're freelancing.
You pick the laziest possible conspiracy theory. You're like, which one has the fewest steps? They're just there. Yeah, that's one that jives with me. You son of a bitch.
I don't know. Until it's been explained. I'm a season 1 bitch right now.
That's right.
I wasn't out of episode 3 before I was like, maybe humanity's population got too high, and so the Earth needed to make something to bring. They talk about like Armin sees a guy kill a goose in episode like 17, and he's like, the strong consume the weak. It has always been this way.
It's like
this is always the nature of life. This is the human existence. The strong will always consume. And I'm like, dude, it's just a goose.
Yeah, he's like, humanity cannot advance until it abandons its humanity. And you're like, all right, dude, whatever. Like, you're like, sure. Everything I've seen in this show so far, where you've probably been freaking out and being like, what does this mean? I'm like, why not? Sure. Like, I'm waiting to see if there's an explanation, but not really trying to lose steam along the way, freaking out.
Well, some of us look for the answers, Mark.
Yeah, I did lose sleep on like why everything is the way it is in this fucking show.
All I know is you never find out what's in the cellar, and that was like a weird...
Yeah, you never do.
Spoiler. Oh shit! I guess we can edit that out.
No. It's
this is why
that's exactly
you're an asset.
That's yes, because you get to wonder what's in the basement, man. And
the fact that somebody told me that I don't get to find out made me wonder less. Like I don't know. I feel like I was given the wrong information going into this, but
maybe
I like it.
Yeah, and so you get past the training arc where they introduce all the scouts. Let me see if I can name them all. I got Aaron, Armin, and Mikasa. That's the squad. That's the homies.
What about Gene? Is he not a...
No, then there's Krista, Annie, Ymir, Reiner, Bertold, Connie, Henge, and Jean. Is it Henge and Hane, right?
It's Henge, I believe.
The one who's always eating potatoes.
The one with the glasses or the goggles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we've got...
Or is it Han?
Sasha?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, there's Sasha. No, Sasha's the one that eats the potatoes.
Yeah,
that's always eating.
Sasha's the one that's always eating.
Henge is the scientist.
Yeah.
and they're pretty fun, I guess. I like that they're all hard asses. They all call Aaron and Armin. I like that this show, one thing that it does is it consistently like checks the main characters. It happens almost each season, but one of the main characters will do some dickish main character type shit. And Gene is like, he's our proxy for a regular, degular ass dude in this entire thing. Because he's the one that's constantly like, guys, you all are trying to be like heroes and not acknowledging that like the last 10,000 guys that died all thought they were going to be fucking heroes. Like, are you guys serious about this shit? He's like, I want to be in the military because I think it's better than being like a peasant.
Yeah, it's like I want to have the most information possible in a situation where humanity is dying because of its lack of knowledge.
Yeah, he just wants to contribute but stay alive almost, while everyone else is just all in, balls to the wall, just only driven by vengeance.
He's like a good representation of necessary selfishness in a way that I try to describe to a lot of people, and they're not like, that's fucked up. And you're like, I'd rather not die with the gaggle.
No, that's what he's like. He's the American element, man. He's the one that's like, fuck the government, fuck this cause. Fuck your cause.
If you're within 5 feet of me, I will save you, but I cannot save everybody.
I will not try to save you, and it's rude of you to ask me to.
No, at one point he definitely
Gene steps up.
He swoops in,
but he has to realize within himself that he needs to step up.
Yeah,
his attitude before
broken.
His attitude before that is he has to realize that no, this is the end game for humanity. This is, if we don't throw every able-bodied person at the wall right now, then we're done.
I was so tired of like the doom and gloom for like the first 5 episodes. I'm just like, when is shit supposed to start happening? You know, when is the crying gonna stop? You know, that's like the main part of like why I was so hateful on it, you know.
But man, the first battle that we get into, the first real battle when they're out of the training arc, the battle for Trost, the struggle of Trost, it's an 8-episode slog of humanity just getting their dick kicked in and kicked in, and you're like, how much more can humanity lose? The population, they say, is below 1 million at this point. They lose 20% of it during the siege of Walmaria, when the armored Titan and the colossal Titan destroy our defenses. And the armored Titan and the colossal Titan as enemies, as like big bads, those are some top-notch big bads. Because the colossal Titan is unfair.
Yeah, at this point it feels hopeless.
He is absolutely playing with fucking cheat codes. The idea that it's like,
he's a mod.
He shows up, he slaps all of the cannons off of the walls of defense, and then he just disappears in a literal lightning bolt.
Yeah, and nobody's gonna nerf him.
There's nothing you can.
The moderators aren't gonna nerf him.
It did everything that a big bad should do. It should be like Sephiroth when you encounter him the first time in like Kingdom Hearts, and you're like, how could anyone beat him?
Isn't Sephiroth Final Fantasy?
He's in Kingdom Hearts 2, but he's got like 100 health bars.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you can beat him, but when you encounter him, you think like when you see the Colossal Titan, you're like, how could our heroes overcome this? Like, in what way? Like, I don't see it I don't
see it happening.
Yeah, and that's what you want. That's what you fucking need from a villain. Is like, I'm
it's like
fucked.
Scar in Full Metal Alchemist for the first little bit.
Right?
Yeah. I played a video game where you weren't supposed to beat him, but I beat him, and it showed me the sequence for being beat, and I was like, I beat him though. I was like, fuck. They didn't even program in like a case where you could beat him.
The other ending, yeah.
Right? When you see Meruem coming out of that shell, the feeling that you're supposed to feel is that you have lost.
Or just the Royal Guard alone.
Well, no, that's what makes Meruem so good, is that it's like, no, we've lost.
Yeah.
We needed to stop this. Skynet, we were, that's why we were supposed to stop this.
Yeah.
We did everything we could and we failed.
Because all the best characters were like, we're fucked. You know, I better not go there.
And and that never lets up in this series. Even when they become fully fledged scouts, it's like Levi's there and he's like, yeah, I mean, you guys are like, I guess about almost as good as the last team that got wiped out. So you're always scared, so scared for these people. And so when the Armored Titan breaks through that wall and just releases the Titans into Trost, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it's rare for anime to get me like that, to be like, no, like, cut humanity a break. But I was feeling that. I was like, oh, come on. Like,
yeah, I was like, how much more can these people take, before they start living underground?
Right?
It is a super fucked situation in the sense that it's like it's almost like being a 20-year-old busboy and you think about the idea of making money and it's like, oh, you'll never actually make money. It's the human race is a busboy right now. They're just trying to make ends meet, getting around, and every once in a while somebody just comes around and fucks their shit up.
Yeah, this busboy is definitely getting knifed in an alley right now.
No, he's being asked to stay until 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, he's
night.
getting robbed. He's getting clubbed in the back
after
of
the 3 a.m. shift.
He works the 3 a.m. shift
and loses all of his money.
He loses it all.
He's being sued by the general manager for sexual harassment.
It's literally why this show is good. It's because of the constant tragedy. Just another catastrophe, after another.
You're like, this
keeps
boy
happening.
just lost. Aaron's watching the Titans pour in and raid the city, and you're like, this boy just lost his mom. And guess what? We don't care, because he's going to make the stupid mistake of trying to save his best friend. And then, out of nowhere, dude, this got me. This was the dunk. This was such a fucking dunk. When Aaron gets his arms and legs bitten off, my jaw dropped. I was like,
yeah, no, that was like a
nah.
huge moment where you're like, oh, I thought it was like a Gurren Lagann moment where you're like,
or Armin becomes the main character.
Yeah, where you're like, guess again, bitch.
I really thought, I was like, well, who's going to take this on now?
I guess this is Armin and Mikasa's story.
I assumed it was just Mikasa. I was like, she's the baddest one.
That's
like,
me too.
So,
me too.
Yeah. I was like, that's not actually bad. That one dude was a crybaby.
My mind was going in a million places.
I still don't like Aaron. He's like functionally, he's powerful, but he's like for now still useless. Where he's like just really passionate about things, but everybody's having to fucking like pick up the slack for him. He can't transform when he wants to. He's still a bitch in season 1, like throughout.
It's like he's the least capable character to wield that power.
He watched his mom get eaten. He's like also
everybody watches their mom get fucking destroyed in the show, dog.
But
it is not an excuse.
And most of them react by becoming scared for their lives and never interacting with people again.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, dog. Other people in the scout troop, or whatever the fuck it's called, have had tragic things happen to him. He's just being melodramatic.
You're just being melodramatic.
We just talked about
your
how
house
terrifying
explodes and your mom gets ripped in half, and it's like, chill out, man. Like,
get over it.
I get it.
But absolute 2013 dunk of the year, when Aaron gets consumed, I threw my hands up. I was like, where the fuck is this going, Isayama? Because you got my ass. This will be the first of many times that you get my ass. And like M. Night Shyamalan, I will be looking out for you getting my ass. I'll have my flashlight. I'll be looking around every fucking corner. And yet still, Isayama gets you again and again and again. And this fucked me up.
I think that's why I don't like Aaron in the first season, is how many times that, like, you know, like the driving force of the show just picks him up by the scruff of the neck and like hides him for a moment. And they're like, here he is.
Yeah,
the
luckiest thing.
He's dead. And he was like, oh, here he is. And he's like, oh, he's dead. And it was like, just kill him.
Because I was ready for a new main protagonist.
Yeah, dude,
Like
Gene
as
would
soon
be
as he
fine.
got eaten, I'm like, now there's no way he's gonna.
Yeah, Gene.
I was angry. I didn't care about Aaron, but I was like, but you've got to avenge your mom, bro. Like, you've got to avenge.
I gasped when that.
Why?
I was like,
How would he avenge his mom?
He's got to avenge his mom, bro. He's got to kill all. He declared that he was going to kill all the Titans. And I was like, you're going to take this?
That's an even more ridiculous premise than One Piece.
That's
an even, like, it's like, I'm going to wipe out an entire
You would
species.
let your mom get eaten. That's what I'm getting from this conversation.
I think you're just
You
expecting.
would let a Titan eat your mom. You'd be like, I gotta get out of here.
You're holding too much stock in Aaron, I think. I don't think
yeah,
that's...
Aaron should have done something.
Yeah. You're the first guy to call out somebody in a show and be like, I don't like this person because they're not realistically, like,
They're not
anything
using
but a
gas,
bitch.
right? They're not.
No, that's me. Thank you.
I don't like this character's gas
As a matter of
mileage.
fact, that is me.
This character's MPG doesn't agree with me.
It bothers me. I don't like it.
We do need to get the miles per gallon on the 3D maneuver.
Where do they get the gas though?
Horsepower.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is that how they explain?
Velocity. Pascals. Newtons.
Do they
Electrons.
do they explain
Now
that
you're
at any
dead,
point in the series? Do they ever get to the bottom of that? Like, how are they living in like a medieval era kind of like situation, but they have like access to pressurized air?
Listen, just keep pulling the thread and the sweater shall unravel.
It is still
There's-
kind of weird that they're lighting their hallways with fire, like with torches.
Yeah, it's like there's no other piece of technology aside from the ODM gear that justifies it being in this universe at all. Everything is literally like, hi, I'm still a blacksmith. You know, like it's like, hey, what is that? And it's like, oh, it's a cult of people that worship a wall. It's like we're obviously in the fucking Middle Ages. And these guys are swinging around on like they're doing gymkhana like parkour.
It's the
that
year-
doesn't even exist now.
It's the year 850, bro.
It does not exist now.
This is the benefit of multiculturalism because, and I enjoy this
1200
about the show, is that because humanity was all driven behind the walls, you got guys named Abdul working with guys named Marco, working with guys named, you got the last Japanese, I guess, which is troubling to think about.
Yeah, what is that? I don't really understand. Like, is this just supposed to be a hodgepodge?
They're like a gray race behind the walls.
Yeah, because it's been 100. Oh, dude. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Is it,
But
you
yeah,
commenting
no,
on the
it is-
character blowing their brains out?
Yeah. No, I do just love how every character in this is so concerned with themselves that they're like, all right, I'm ready. Like the look of relief on that guy's face. He's like, thank God it's loaded.
But you realize these things.
He's
Everyone-
like, nice. And they're like, you can't kill somebody with that. He's like, yeah, I can.
Seriously, everyone in this show is one glass of spilt milk away from just offing themselves.
Yeah, pissing themselves.
Yeah, everybody's
just
like main
freezing up.
motivation is on the brink of just being broken.
But that's
Everyone
exactly-
has a length of rope under their bed.
But that's exactly how everyone would react when you like just that. I bet you that like giant people are way more scarier in real life than this anime.
Oh, like, yeah. It's
That's
gotta
the
be
terrifying part about it. It's
insane.
even scarier in real life.
Dude, you see somebody running at you at an unnatural speed, you're like terrified.
Yeah, imagine him like 50 feet tall,
Yeah.
sprinting at you.
God, we'd be so fucked.
Yeah, I bet you wish you had your ODM gear now.
Yeah,
bet you're not complaining about your gas mileage then.
I sure wish that shit actually existed.
You were looking for a fucking Shell or a Sunoco so you could pull up and gas up
Like
and get out of
nothing,
there.
nothing now could even save us from this shit.
It would be cool.
Like,
Wait a minute now.
like our fixed gears will not. Like, there's not. Our cars wouldn't do shit. Like it'll be terrible. Dude.
Okay, you know what would have even been a more realistic idea than this? Wingsuits with those fucking things on the back of them.
Like gliders.
Oh, you want squirrel
Yeah, like a
suiting?
wing. Yeah, squirrel shooting motherfuckers with like razor blades. How much cooler would that have been?
How are you gonna
Christ.
kill
Because then they
anything
could
like
have gotten
that?
around in the fields and shit like that, and it's also more
It's
believable
just
tech.
It's just gonna be wingsuit people going. We need to go between its legs.
Yeah.
And that's it. They don't.
literally
they don't
like
do
how
any-
I would have written an anime.
I'm just saying it would make
It's just
more
wingsuit
sense.
divers trying to fight the.
You know, I would have made Sakura play guitar in Naruto. That would have made her more interesting. How about that?
She plays drums.
no.
Thank you.
No, 1010 plays the drums.
No, Shikamaru plays. No,
Shikamaru plays bass.
Yeah, he plays bass. of
Kamaru
course.
definitely plays bass.
Either bass or oboe.
And Choji's the lead singer.
Yeah, of course.
Choji's like Choji's like some job for a cowboy shit.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah, Choji's the lead singer of Whitechapel.
Eren gets eaten. Our main character consumed. All the chips are cashed in. Emotionally, I could not be more available. And then what happens? We get one of the strangest. You know, it's a tradition of a shonen that you go a few episodes and then the main character's superpower is like, oh, revealed. And once again, Isayama got me because I never thought this was going to be that type of show. Because every Titan that you see up until then is so doofy, so stupid, so silly pants banana clown shoes that you don't even think that our main character might become one.
Right. It totally punches. I think that's the big dunk. Obviously.
The hand coming out of the mouth is...
Yeah.
And then putting a basketball into a hoop. That was crazy for me. And it's also fun to just see how long it takes for everyone to realize that's Eren. Because for us as the viewer, we're like, oh my God, what's happening? But for everyone else, there's just like, yo, there's this one Titan with like flowing like Ed or Harry Styles hair. Like, what's going on with him?
He's got a jaw like a bionicle.
He looks like Miranda Cosgrove down there.
What?
Down there.
Whoa.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Did you woe yourself?
No, Miranda Cosgrove's got a strong ass jaw, bro. She could take. Have you ever seen her take a punch in the ring? Do you guys remember what you felt? Do you guys remember where you were when Eren Yeager maybe became an okay-ish anime character?
Yeah,
My
it was like
head
a week-
turned like 90 degrees. I was like, huh?
I watched it like a
was
week.
what?
I don't know. I was like, I was hyped for it. Thought it was tight.
My jaw
It's okay.
dropped. For sure. I didn't know what, but I still was lost.
Yeah.
Just as surprised as I was just as lost.
Every answer proposes 100 new questions. in
Like
the
season
show.
1 and 2 are like just giant puzzle pieces.
In hindsight, it does seem crazy to me that so much of the first season, like, involved nothing outside of the walls, where it's like, this is the state of things inside of the walls, and then they go outside of, what is it? Did they go outside of Wall Rose, or they're like literally in between Wall Rose and Wall Maria?
Yeah, no, they don't go
Yeah.
to the edge of Wall Rose in the first 2 seasons.
Oh.
Or they're
Probably- you
they're
probably
along the
shouldn't-
edge because they're trying to plug up a hole that the
Cla-
Titan, not the
in
colossal
Wall
Titan, but the
Maria.
armored Titan.
Yeah.
When he burst through that wall.
That was Wall Rose.
Was it the gate? Right? It was the gate.
Yeah, it was
that
the
he
gate to
busted?
Wall Rose, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
So there's the central part of the city, which I don't believe in the first season or 2 we even see at all.
yeah, no, because the
And then
place for
there's-
that cult is located just
The center of the city is like the kingdom and the churches.
Yeah.
And then there's the outer area, which is like the aristocracy. And then there's outside of that is all the farmland and the bigger cities and the people. And it was one of those cities outside of the wall that got infiltrated. Because you see how there's like circular city enclaves? One of those cities in between got busted into. So it wasn't the entire area that was inhabited, but it was a significant area.
I see. Yeah, dude, the proportions and size of like things in this show kind of kind of bugged me out a little bit.
You need a map. You need a timeline. You need. I mean, you could have a race chart because honestly, there's a lot of stuff that could be said about the fact that almost every character feels like they're. Well, no, if you just go off of their names, almost every character's name. Well, no, there's a lot of German character names, but there's a lot.
There's Japanese too.
There's German, Japanese, Spanish, French. There's like I think there's a guy
English?
with a Polish name. There's English names, yeah. And then there's Dot Pixis. I don't know what that is.
Pixie.
Pixies.
Dr. Pixis.
Pixies.
But yeah, so during this big battle for Tross, we get the introduction of the the idea that a human can transform into a Titan. We get the humans hoping to use this Titan to turn back the tide of the battle. Armin is watching, and he's like, maybe we can use this to help us. Oh my God. Mikasa is proving that she is putting the entire she's the LeBron of the Survey Corps because she's putting the entire team on her back. She's killing Titans left and right because she's freaking out because she thinks Eren's dead.
And she has like a special talent for some reason.
Because she's Mikasa Ackerman.
Well, she
Is that an episode of iCarly or something?
Is that like a celebrity deathmatch episode or
that
something?
That head's made of lead, bro. She's got a lead head.
She does look like she's got a very hard head.
But when Eren burst out of this old man, yeah, I was so hype. I might have jumped up on my couch and said whoop. Like a juggalo.
Like gas or whatever. Oh, no, she does think Eren's dead, and she's still, like, resisting and trying to, like, she even mentions, like, her body takes over, and she doesn't know, like, why she's moving that way. So she's literally just got hella baggage. That's Mikasa's superpower.
Right? Armin feels way too many things all the time forever.
No, he just thinks too hard. Like he's not like his issue is he doesn't have confidence because he's mad smart, but he's more burdened by like emotional shit and like shit having to do with errands than anything practical. Like homie could be running the scout troop, but he's just a simp.
You got that high of an opinion of Armin. I thought Armin was straight trash.
I thought he was cool
all the way until probably season like
3.
2 or 3. Yeah, I thought Armin was
a crybaby,
absolute garbage. Hated every single frame that he was in the picture, unless he was being used to forward Eren and Mikasa as a plot device. I hated Armin. He might be the only character in the show that I didn't like. Because even Eren, who I wouldn't hang with Eren, but as I watch it with Eren, I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing here with this character. I see I can appreciate this. He's going through like the standard shonen teenage boy arc of like, oh, something tragedy will strike. You'll be forced to step up to become a man. You'll inherit your secret power that comes from your birthright or whatever. Just as Goku got his Saiyan powers from his father, or Naruto got his spiral from his father. Everyone always gets like, it's becoming a 13-year-old boy. You get your power bestowed on you. You become a fucking man or whatever. But with Eren, I'm like, this guy's becoming a fucking man. Jesus Christ, this kid is becoming a man.
Yeah, you see growth.
But
he does, especially after the first like 9 episodes, he does kind of start to try to get his shit together. But even whenever they're like during that like siege of Trost and they're going through later on with the female Titan, they're going through the woods or whatever, he is just then being like, okay, I'm with the shit, you know, like yeah. He's like, should I not listen to anybody? Like he's like, should I while out? And everybody's like, don't while out. And he's like, I don't know, maybe I should. And then somebody's like, dude, please just don't. We're all friends. And he's like, oh, never mind. Like he's like, all right, I guess I'll be cool.
Yeah,
he's too mercurial.
Yeah, and so we get to the end of the Battle of Trost, and the skinny of it all is that Eren comes out of being the Titan, and he's like, guys, that Titan was me, I guess. Everyone's like, whoa. And he's like, I think that the secret to all of this is in my father's basement. And it's like, ooh, write that in chisel tip Sharpie.
It just, yeah, it did seem kind of unusual that he kind of focused on that, because it was such an afterthought of his dad's, where he's like, oh yeah, I have something to show you. And he just fixated on that, where he was like, oh, that must be the answer to everything.
Well, I do think that on a rewatch, the thing that I most appreciate on the rewatch is the clever intricacy of how it establishes how Aaron remembers things. Because I just think that that's it's hard to not do the basic bitch shit of like having a psychic person in an anime, or you have someone who like dreams the future or dreams the past, or like it's weird. Everyone, like, think of how many flashbacks there were in Naruto, and you think, when those flashbacks were happening, was that literally just people like standing around staring at the sun thinking about like things that happened a month ago? Because I do that. I'm an idiot, but I'm not an anime character,
Yeah, you don't grunt all the time when you
I'm not
react to things.
Like when you ask me something, I don't go, and then in my head I go through like 3 episodes of shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And so I appreciate that they do a good job of like, when Aaron goes back and forth in between being Titan, they do a really good job, I think, of making the fuzziness of his memories convey a lot more to the story than I appreciated at first.
honestly, before that, with how little they mentioned like his mom, I thought he like just didn't give a shit anymore. It almost seemed like he was using his dead mom as a crutch to motivate himself to kill all the Titans, because he doesn't really talk about his mom a lot at all. There's not really a whole bunch of reference. It's like when he's a Titan, there are like memories with him or whatever. But I don't know. It's weird.
It's a sick ass shot
Yeah,
of
it's
a man
more-
getting his head punched off.
It's more about his dad,
Yeah, and not even then. It's more of like
Every anime is about your dad. Think about Grappler Baki. Think about
Hunter,
Sword of the
Hunter.
Berserk. Think of every Hunter x Hunter. Every anime is about your goddamn dad. Everyone in Japan wants their dad to be Superman.
except for DBZ.
DBZ is about your dad. Eventually. It gets around to it.
They kind of
Really?
pushed the dad thing in the back a little. They got over the dad. It's not about the dad. You can't. You're sitting here telling me that Bardock was that's what the whole show is about.
Death Note's not about his dad.
It's not about who Bardock is. It's not about, in the same way that Jin Freaks is not there for Gun, but it is about the hidden power that is Gun's Nen, or Goku's Saiyan heritage, or Naruto's spiral, that he receives from his absent father. It's like, all I can remember my father by is this bullshit curse / power he left me, like this huge dick, or
It's on behalf of or in
these
spite of.
sick ass guitar skills, or it's like, all I can do is I'm a great ass tap dancer because my dad was a great tap dancer and he died in a car crash, and all I know him through is tap dancing. And that's just every anime story, it feels.
My dad's a citrus commercial agriculture specialist. I don't really think I want to take on the family mantle.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Grappler Baki's father was an accountant?
There's no point of the show then.
Yeah. Yeah. So Aaron becomes the savior of humanity, ? I do have to admit, if I saw something like this happen, I'm like, guys, like, we've lost. How could you not put all your eggs in any basket at this point?
Especially one like that.
Like, I'd be like, this guy can turn into a Titan. It's like, he needs to get like 100 women pregnant, like right now. I don't care if he's 14 years old or whatever.
We need to make more of him.
Like, yes, exactly. Like, this isn't up for debate.
We need to make an army of.
Are like, are
of
you?
these.
They're like, the people are like, it's been 100 fucking years of this shit. Are you kidding me? No, we got to do whatever. If they had DNA, if these people knew what DNA was, Aaron would be sliced open and put in 100 different jars by now. But
Yeah, like Acura.
yeah, he would have gotten fucking Akira so hard.
He would have got lobotomized.
Right? He'd be eyeballs in a jar.
And the Titans would have won.
Guess not. Ed, instead, everybody treats him like he's a fucking pariah. They're like, he is the elimination of the human race. They're like, this guy can't be trusted.
And just like this is a breaking point in the series.
I do think it is. It's just super weird how witch hunty they are with him from the get go. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's warranted.
I think it is maybe a little bit, but at the same time, there's so few people that are seeing the outlook as positive from that point that they're like, this is dangerous. We need to burn this book.
I'll say this. As a black man, if I saw one Titan with cornrows...
You saw a white person randomly turn into a 50-foot tall white person.
I'm saying, because right now it's like, I don't know where these Titans are coming from. Like in season 1, I'm like, I don't know where these Titans are coming from. I don't know what's happening with them. So if I saw a Titan with cornrows, I'd be like, I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone. I would not let my kids go to school. I would be so fucking tinfoil jaded if
A Titan with a flat top fade.
If I saw a Titan that just looked kind of like someone I knew or something, Like as soon as we had a Titan of a celebrity, it would throw everything into question. I'd be like, what's going on here?
Sorry.
But it's yeah, that's what's gotten me is it's like at this point I'm just so caught up on where are these Titans coming from that I want them all dead, but then I'm scared of the idea that you can't kill them all because we don't know where they're coming from. It's guys, these just started showing up one day.
I want to find the Titan cave.
The Titan cave, the Titan factory,
the Titan hole,
the big hole,
the big hole in the ground that the Titans started coming out of.
Oh, it's filled with peanut butter and Titans.
You're telling me you don't even find that out in season 3?
I'm saying you never will ever know the answer to these questions.
Where they come from?
Where babies come from? They come from women.
They're actually mechs. Inside.
Yeah, that would be so funny if it was nah, they're actually robotic.
I mean,
they're Gundams.
It could be. I don't know.
Could be an element.
Dude, okay, wait a minute. All right, I'm going to throw you a bone here, and I'm going to throw out one of my conspiracy theories that proved to be absolutely false. And I'm going to say it to you so you don't, because you say you're not conspiracizing.
Yeah.
They are not in a video game.
Oh, that's such a stupid fucking theory.
You
That's
ruled that out already?
That is dumb as shit. And I just watched Konosuba.
That never crossed my mind.
Yeah, that's a dumb.
Okay.
The simulation
That would
thing is
ruin the
kinda
whole
played
show.
out.
All right.
That would absolutely ruin.
You know what's funny is
That's just me.
in 3 or 4 years, I already know the anime that you're gonna watch. That you're gonna be like, dude, could you believe? And I'm gonna be like, fuck you. Fuck you. I told you it was going to be a simulation and you thought I was a stupid thing and then you're going to think it was smart when you see it.
Now I'm going to agonize over what anime that is.
Yeah, because
you can't tell me what it is.
Because you have to
now
come
that
upon
I know.
it naturally.
You suck.
Yeah, I'm in your brain.
Nah, not that bad. I was under a fingernail, perhaps.
I'm like a bamboo shoot.
No, like a piece of dirt.
No. I'm that other thing.
Nah, something I can remove with a cuticle
I'm a
trimmer.
sexy piece of bamboo that's whittled under your fingernails.
You're something stuck in my teeth for a maximum of 40 minutes.
40 minutes? That's enough time to ruin a date.
A date?
Yep.
Perhaps.
I'm spinach.
Wait.
I'm in there.
I'm saying...
No.
All right. Interpret that how you will.
She got there. She started talking to you about Death Note, and then she saw the spinach in your teeth.
She's
and
like, oh, fuck, he eats olives? Dude.
And that olive was me. And
Dude,
I'm
I find out a bitch eats olives, I'm fucking leaving.
But yeah. Actually, let's... So that's about the halfway point of season 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a pause for a small break here.
Okie doke.
Yeah. Bam. All right. And we are back. And just as we are back, so too is Aaron from unconsciousness. He's surrounded by his friends, Mikasa and Armin. He's naked, ? And he's wondering what just happened.
But he's not naked. He's in a bed.
Yeah.
Right?
He was naked at one point. Eh?
No, he comes out with clothes on.
Yeah.
Someone had to take off that clothing, man, and we had to see his supple body there.
We can't get
Is this
hung
why you
up
like
on this.
shonen, Nick? You're like, every time the main character gets knocked out, I just imagine the undressing process, and it's fucking.
Every time I see a character change clothes in a shonen, I'm like, nice. They were naked at one point. That's hot to me.
Is that a checklist you go through?
I check each character when they do a wardrobe change, and I go, yes, now I can have release, is what I say.
It's pretty creep of you.
Very interesting.
But, yeah, we're at the halfway point. This is interesting. So humanity is like, what do we do with this kid? What do we do? And what's funny is someone at one point is like, Mikasa's possibly a Titan as well. And I'm like, okay.
That's like the whole witch hunt vibe that I was talking about, where it's like nobody knows anything that has the authority to kill people. And it's like, if you're in like the military police, or if you're in the military and you have like any authority, you probably have never seen a Titan. Like, so you're like, oh my God, what is he? It's like, we got to kill him.
That is something to be stressed here, is that for most people, your introduction to a Titan is the worst day of your life.
It's like
it is
either-
a changing event.
It is either the last day of your life or your entire family has been killed.
Yeah, no one has ever interacted with a Titan and it didn't fundamentally alter the trajectory of their entire bloodline.
Yeah.
I mean, they go through like lengths to mention multiple times in the series. They're like, oh, those guys are badasses. They've seen a Titan before. You know, like everybody else is like, oh, damn. It's like, why are they so serious? It's like, because they saw a Titan once.
There are unironically hardened military men who've been serving for 10, 15 years who see a Titan approaching on the horizon, and then they put a gun in their mouth.
Yeah.
And they say, I cannot.
Traumatized by a naked giant human check type shit.
Yeah, the PTSD here is so real. To be almost... It seems hysterical, but I bet it would be worse. I don't know how...
No, this is bad. This is really bad. This is like worse than war. Like
this is
real
worse
war.
than you would imagine.
This is worse than like, you know, going to World War II. You know,
I mean, this definitely takes priority.
I'd rather be shooting Germans than like fighting giant humans with no guns.
Who have no aim.
I have
dude.
I have to kill these things with swords.
This makes war look like a very civil like concept. You know what I mean? Where it's
Very
like,
primal.
at least the other side can like correspond with you in a negative or positive way. This is like a stone-faced kind of like giant evil thing that's just has no regard for you.
Yeah. And so with these people seeing Aaron in this light, they're trying to decide what to do with him. They have one of the first of many court-martialings that occur in this series.
This is like the trial.
Yeah, the courtroom
part.
shit doesn't make any sense. And it does definitely give you like
Salem witch trial.
It gives
type.
you the sense that nobody knows what's going on because everybody is trying to deliberate at the same time in the courtroom. It's like, I can't even tell if there's actually like a judge or like a jury or anything like that. It's just a square of people surrounding him while he's bound, and they're just screaming at him. They're like, "Are you a Titan?" And he's like, "Are you a Titan?" And they just keep like interrupting him and screaming in his face.
Levi comes up and like slaps the shit out of him for some reason.
You know,
he starts beating the shit out.
Yeah,
of
I
him.
didn't think much of that.
Gotta make sense. He's like, yeah, I'll show you this guy's not a Titan.
No,
We're gonna
they're
put
like
an
the
apple
only
up."
way we could prove he's with us or against us is if we beat the fuck out of him, and if he doesn't break, then he's
It's
with
like
us.
frat
Like,
house hazing rules. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're not going to be a Titan, huh? Like, let us see your dick then." And you gotta pick up this tangerine with your butt cheeks.
we gotta stone you for an hour, and then if you're alive, then you're probably with us.
It's like, you think you can save the human race? It just kicks you in the face. Like,
You got to drink 240s in like less than 20 minutes, bro. He's like, oh.
like he moves or complains at all, and he's like, he's gonna become a Titan.
You think you can be on the Survey Corps? That's Hurricane. That's 9.6% alcohol. Drink up.
They're like, 0.5 more guns at this guy.
But they say, you know what, Aaron? if you can help us save the entire human race, maybe we'll consider letting you live.
One thing I really do like about the series is there is like zero sexualization going on.
There's no time.
There's
no time for boners.
Nobody
Too
has
much stress.
Nobody has tits. Nobody has an ass. Everybody's starving. Like I like that.
If you were to be seen with a boner in a time of if I saw you walking around with a hard on in a time like this, bro, I would snap that motherfucker right off. Mad quick. Are you kidding me?
I'd kill
Be like,
you.
are you
Can
really?
you imagine?
I'd kill
You're
you.
in the trenches in Nazi Germany taking fire, and you see one of your men next to you with a fucking boner? Are you kidding me?
What if
yell
he's
to an
What if he's kicking ass though? With the he's like killing all the Germans.
You
He's
like
taking out
Levi's just
gunners.
rock hard.
You yell to an angry mob. You yell to an angry mob, and you're like, "This guy's trying to get pussy."
It's not the blade that's cutting the napes. It's Levi's hard ass dick.
Yeah.
Just like slicing.
Just spinning in circles.
Jesus Christ. He's just slicing like a fucking Tasmanian devil. Oh my God. I think it's rude. I'm glad these Titans don't have dicks, and I would be furious. I wouldn't forgive it. I love humanity too much to allow for that. But they decide, they're like, you know what? We got to transport Aaron so that we can figure out what to do with him, because he might be able to help us plug this hole in this wall, maybe. But first we got to get him over this vast distance, because there are so many points in this anime, and it is kind of hard to map out if you don't literally have a map in front of you. But there's so many points where they're like, we need to get from point A to point B. That'll be 2 days travel. That'll be 1 day's travel. That'll be 9 hours by horseback.
Yeah.
How hard can we ride the horses? And it's like, you can't run the horses that hard. Dang, it's not going to be 9 hours. It's going to be 13 hours now.
The Siege of Trost is literally just them being like, all right, we're going to go there. We're doing a shuttle run, guys. It's like we're going there and we're going back. And that's like 9 episodes.
Because nothing goes to plan.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not.
But they're engaging the 104th Cadets. God, this is the 104th Scout Regiment. 103 have come before them.
You'd think that there would be more over the course of 100 years.
104 regiments?
Once a year. How many people in a regiment?
I imagine that's a number that changes a lot
Yeah, I'm sure.
based on birth rates and
How many people fucking die?
Like,
how many,
what do you
how many
think?
districts were lost.
Give me a ballpark, though. Like 30, 40?
I'm not quite sure, actually.
it might be like 4 or 5, I think, or 10.
When you get to the end of the female Titan, that's the big. Okay, so we got to introduce the concept of the female Titan. So they're moving Aaron across the map so that they can get him to where the hole is, because they say if you're a Titan, you might be able to plug that hole, and otherwise we're gonna kill you. So if you can do this, if you can save humanity, we might let you live. And
It's like, we'll let you try this if it succeeds.
so Commander Erwin Smith, a man that we must spend some time on, enters the picture. And he's like, I'm going to be the one he's the only man that Levi respects in this entire fucking kingdom. Levi doesn't respect the king. He doesn't respect the priest. He doesn't respect the pope, but he respects Erwin Smith. And Erwin's like, we can do this. We're going to assemble the 57th expedition. We're going to head out. And while they're doing this, they've got every plan possible. They're like, we've planned for if we get attacked on the left flank, if we get attacked on the right flank. What if we encounter a bunch of Titans? What if a bunch of Titans somehow get behind us? It's like, don't worry. We got plans for everything. We got plans for absolutely everything. The only thing that we don't have a plan for is like, what if some Titan was like, I don't know, maybe super smart and also like an athlete? Like, what if a female basketball player became a Titan? What about that? It's like, well,
It's like, they're like, go through the list, and he's like, it's not on the list.
do we have anything here for a Titan with a jump shot? Like,
That's a cool a medieval basketball court.
with a wooden ball?
Yeah. And there's like torches lit and like stone
No,
columns.
it's just made out. It's like a ball of leather straps.
Yeah, it's it's like an inflated It's an inflated goat's bladder or
It's
something.
like both of the baskets are like gargoyles with holes cut into them, sitting on top of Victorian lampposts.
Yeah, and the scoreboard is 2 slaves holding up signs. But yeah, so they're doing the mission. Everything seems to be going to plan. Levi has his boys with him. He's got Petra. He's got, what are their names? God, they're these poor
Some
people.
of the names you don't need to remember, apparently.
I remember Petra. But I do remember that these aren't just regular people. These are the only survivors of Levi's prior squad.
Yeah.
That squad, go back to
like,
episode 1, those guys, they're all dead.
Yeah.
All those people died. The only ones in that squad that have survived more than 1 or 2 tours of this hellish game.
That's Levi's fucking his entourage.
Yeah, he's fist bumping all these motherfuckers. And they're with him. The crew is doing a lot of stuff. They've separated into a lot of different factions because they're trying to hide where Aaron is. Because they suspect, for some reason, they're like, he's a high-risk target. And they're going across the huge fields. This is some Lord of the Rings shit, because it really is it feels like days of them riding these horses. It feels like such a huge insurmountable. What's funny is it would be like one day in a car, but for them it's
like a week on horseback.
Yeah, and it's stressful. It's so stressful. But we introduced this female Titan, and this is terror incarnate. This is where I would blow my brains.
It just comes running. That scene of her coming running in the distance and somebody looking and being like, "What is that?" And then within like 2 seconds, it's on them in like 10 feet away and just hits that fucking horse out of left field. Completely just fucking like...
Turns it to liquid.
Super Smash Brothers home run bats this fucking horse. And it's like, ching! You see it fly into the distance and you're like, man, I love this show.
Some of the most unlucky meat bags in all of anime in this show. Because it's not just the horses, man. You see so many people get grabbed by their gear and just whipped against the walls.
Oh,
or just squished.
Yeah.
Just smashed. She like slap them out of the way like they're flies. Except like flies survive if you slap them. Like the consequences are way different when it's a human.
There's a lot of bounce to these corpses when they hit a wall.
Well,
distressing amount of bounce.
One thing that we humans don't have to deal with that small things like flies do is something called wind resistance. So we're going into a building, we're staying there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the female Titan comes through. She immediately starts shithousing everyone. The flare guns are going up.
No, she's just running towards something. She's like running in a straight direction, and anybody that gets in her way or tries to like obstruct her path or whatever, she very quickly just grabs their line and just swings it against the ground.
I mean that no one has the skills necessary.
Oh, no.
No one has been to the DeVry Institute class necessary to overcome this female Titan.
Yeah.
They haven't done the right learning modules at Phoenix U. Oh my God. And so she's just like slaying these people left and right. What we're to believe are experienced scout rangers. And it's terror. It's absolute terror. This is like a nightmare I've had since I was like 3 years old. Of like you're just running and something's chasing you, and you're like, "Oh my God!" And I don't know if
no hope.
Do you guys have those crazy nightmares?
Yeah, actually, the Super Mario 64 hallway that goes into the back of the castle, you know, when Boo chases you. I actually have had several dreams about being chased by Boo down that hallway.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah, no.
It's like feeling...
And you try to scream, but you can't.
It's the feeling of dread.
For me, it was the 1990s X-Men Juggernaut. Because he would just show up and fuck everyone and everything up, and nothing could, and it was like, oh, nothing can stop that guy.
For me, it was 2001 Green Goblin.
That's
Willem
not
Dafoe.
bad.
That was terrifying.
That's
I
good.
remember from
Not bad,
when I was
Spider-Man.
4 years old, I would see like Green Goblin, and he would chase me around the house. and I would be terrified. He's like knocking shit over. He's
Yeah.
like, "Come here," and I'm just like, "Ah!"
The witch from the puddle encouraged the cowardly dog. Scared me as a kid.
And I'll wake up right when he gets me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Isayama tapping into something fucking primal. Because this female Titan got to me. The idea of like, I can't get it. It's like if you just looked over on the mountain horizon and you saw like a hand reaching up over it, you're just like, what the fuck? There's so much imagery.
I don't even know how I would be able to process that.
It's Cthulhu
I would pass,
shit.
I would pass out.
And there's so much of that imagery when you get the colossal Titan peeking over the walls of Shinigami. When you get the female Titan trying to chase them down, when you get the people being eaten, like the mother being eaten, just picked up, or Marco's death, which is the one that really rattles Gene. Because
Was that when he got like slammed into that tower?
No, Marco just gets bitten in half. You don't see Marco die. And that's the thing that gets everyone. Gene is just walking down an alleyway after the destruction, and he sees Marco's head bitten in half. And he says, that's how most of us are going to die, with no one around, with no one seeing it, with no one knowing that it even happened. Marco died terrified, screaming, and alone. And that's how we're all going to die. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Isayama, put the pen down.
There's some real fuck shit going on, man.
So you're running for your life from a woman who is 40 stories tall and can run 10 times fast. She's running at you at 80 miles an hour.
You're on a horse.
Your friend just said, hold up, let me take care of this. You just saw him get splattered.
Oh my god.
Your friend that got splattered is better than you.
The friend that believed in you.
He
The
was
friend
the-
that pep talked you into doing this mission.
The guy who
You
taught
know?
you how to use your ODM gear
Yeah.
just got crushed.
Your childhood friend. Your first friend.
Coach, come on, coach.
Yeah.
Don't make it be like that. And these people are running, but they can tell they're making a lot of judgments here. This is really Armin's time to shine because he's seeing this and he's having to make all these assessments. He's like, she's not going after all of us. She's looking around. She's scanning the horizon. She's making assessments. This is not like any other Titan that we've encountered before.
She's like, oh, she must be looking for my boy.
Right? This Titan's
She
got
has
a GED,
intentions. Yeah. It's got an objective.
right?
Yeah, she's trying to steal his hoodie.
All the other Titans are just fucking around, but this girl's here to meet the DJ.
Oh yeah.
And
He's here to bang the DJ, not hang the DJ. You know what I'm saying?
and we so the guys say maybe we can lose them in the forest. And so everyone starts breaking off. People are getting picked off left and right. But when we get into the forest, what we get to see is Mikasa start to really show how... Because we've seen Mikasa comparatively to other scrubs, you know? All these other first years.
Yeah, she's the valedictorian of the scout squad.
But this is our first time getting to see Mikasa up against, like, vets. And you know what? Girl can hang.
She has like a natural talent, like I said. Like
You don't
she's
think
better than Aaron. She's better. She started training at the same time as Armin and Aaron, but for some reason she's just like she swings. She handles the ODM gear like Levi does.
You don't
almost.
think Isayama just thinks Japanese people are better than other people?
No, Mikasa's just, like I said, she's got that baggage that allows her to tap into that crazy inhuman power. Okay, here's a map.
Yeah, these help. This is one of my favorite things about the show. For the people who can't see what we're seeing, is it really does try to
lot
hold
of space. Yeah,
It really does try to hold your hand and say, "Hey, I got to convey a lot of information to you." Like the thing that got me most is getting frustrated with whenever the little interstitials. I would pause sometimes. On the interstitials, there would be so much information. It's so dense. You have to pause.
It's in Japanese.
And then Crunchyroll's dog shit interface comes up on the screen. And so you can't get Crunchyroll's fucking interface to get off of the screen so you can read all the helpful hints that you need.
Wait, but it's in Japanese.
But they translate it.
Do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't on the dub?
You could find it.
I don't think so.
Oh my, wait, so you on the dub, you don't get all of, whenever there's a commercial, you don't get like a gray page of like information?
It's all in Japanese.
And they don't? Holy shit, dude.
I should probably look up what those mean, right?
I don't know how much info you've missed out on, but you've missed out on a lot. There's so much of like the facts of the Titans.
How
Like,
did you read it?
in the sub, it just
Yeah, it
translates
tells you.
it. It just writes it on the fucking screen. It's all stuff like the first Titan was discovered in this year and was this size and blah blah blah. Like this was what
shit.
One of them is something like they tried opening a Titan up once and extracting its organs, but they found the Titans to be hollow. It's a bunch of factoids. It's like science manual clippings and stuff. But that's insane that you missed all of those. It's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
It would make your head spin for sure.
I mean, I'm not a spoiler, I guess, but there is one of those in like episode 55 that if you don't see it, I don't see how you could possibly make sense of a lot of what happens.
Well, therein lies the secret.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, this show is needing to help you out because there's a lot of data to be processed here. So, but these guys are trying to hide from the female Titan. They go into the forest. They sick their best men on her, and they all fall. This is a tense scene when the Levi is having to watch his men die as he's running with Aaron. Aaron thinking, the slow breakdown of Aaron thinking, all right, well, it's all of us together. We got to be safe. I'm with Levi and his squad. We're the safe. I'm the safest man on Earth right now because I am with the killers. And then they're riding. He's like, ooh, you fucked up this time, female Titan. You really fucked up big. And then she kills the first one of them. And Aaron's like, what do we do? What the hell do we do?
This is a mistake.
What do we do? And Levi's like, keep looking forward. Don't slow down. We need to keep going.
It like breaks the illusion of safety. It's like no matter who you're with, it doesn't matter if you're with Commander Irwin or Pixie. It's like everybody's just as vulnerable.
Yeah.
Nobody's invincible.
I thought the same. Aaron is saying everything that you as the viewer are supposed to be thinking. You know? Like, oh shit, we're about to see Levi and his crew uncork on this bitch. And you get none of that. She's shithousing them left and right. So, oh my God, when she shoulder slams Petra into that tree, such an unnecessarily over the top death.
Brutal.
It's like so mean spirited.
It's like mutilated. Like it's that body is unrecognizable.
That's what's funny about this. This anime is so mean spirited.
Well, it's funny
it's like
because
it's not like anybody's dying from a gunshot. It's like their bodies look like they've been in a terrible car crash. Like,
and it's funny because this Titan is like specifically the most brutal or the most like gratuitous about their violence, and it's a person.
She's like smart, and you can tell that she doesn't like. She personally, all the other Titans just want to eat humans. This Titan hates humans for some reason.
like for sport. She's just killing for sport.
She thinks it's she grabs one of them by their ODM gear and she's just spinning them like a fidget spinner. And you see the G-forces causing blood to spurt out of this person's head. They're spinning so fast. You imagine that, like the blood rushes to your head, pops out of your eye sockets, and is squirting out because the G-forces.
I want to see a POV of that shit.
Right? That's some seeing someone take their helmet off in space shit. But it's so cruel. And anime cruelty, we've been talking about this a lot now. After Midori, we talked about Elfenlied, we talked about Parasite the Maxim. I don't know if you've seen Ajin Demi-Human.
I've crossed paths with it.
There's a lot of wanton suffering in anime, but all of the suffering in this, though over the top and crazy, and I never want me and my horse to be slammed against a brick wall at 100 miles an hour, but it all makes sense. And that's what's so horrible about this world that Isayama's crafted, is it's like, yeah, it is this violent. And I don't see why it would ever stop being this violent.
It's this hopeless.
Yep, suicide is the move. It's what I'd be planning here. I'd probably suicide my whole family. Just Chris Benoit them all.
There's got to be something fun to do, though, you know?
I don't know.
You can play baseball or something.
It is funny that there
They have
are
baseball?
No.
It's funny that there are still like stingy people here that will be like, I still need to make money, dog. Like, you know, like
I'm a milkman.
Yeah, when Mikasa like threatens that guy that's trying to push the cart through the tunnel, and he's like, "You don't realize I stand to lose a lot of money by like." He's like, if I just let these people in first, there's no guarantee that my product is gonna be safe. The shit is pretty ruthless, though. It does a very good job of like being very human despite very inhuman conditions. Where it's like all of the things that you can imagine about humans being selfish through ignorance in this. It's like all of the selfishness in the show comes from within the inner walls. It's like the more association that you have with the inner walls, the more that you're capable of being like, I don't really care about like people at large. And then like if you're from the outer walls or in the scout squad, it's like, oh no, I have to care about people or I'm going to die.
Yeah, I mean, if I were in the inner walls, I'm not going to lie. I would probably be like, hey, man, I just need to reach the age of 60, maybe 70 without seeing a Titan. And honestly, after that, I don't give a fuck what happens on either side of the wall at this point. This is hell. This is hell on earth. This is not fair. This was never fair. The fix was in before the game even started.
I'm surprised by this time, like, the cities aren't, like, underground.
Oh, you know, come on, man. Giving up sunlight, that's a different level of apocalypse.
If this shit's going on, like...
You'd become a mole man?
Yes! I don't want to... That's how you would live till 60, Nick, in this reality, is hide in your cellar.
No, I could also just let a bunch of guys from the church finger me. And then I work my way up the ranks. I become the guy they love fingering the most, and then I get in there. That's how it works in the real world. Man, that's how we survive in this real hell world. But
man, I would hate to be in one of those cities that's in that little like enclave between two walls. You're like, damn, there's nothing to do there. You're just
sitting ducks.
Dead water.
Right. Speaking of being sitting ducks, though, the female Titan is closing in on the crew, but we managed to subdue her. They hit her with hundreds of grappling hooks. They ambush her. They pin her to the ground. They're like, we're going to cut that nape of that neck. We're going to get you, bitch. You fucked up. And then the female...
And of course, they provoke her and she freaks out and just breaks out. And it's like, well, that's what you get for getting cocky.
Right? She reveals that she can turn herself into a giant crystal if things get hairy. And you're like, that's... Humanity just can't catch a win in this series.
It's just so unfair.
Like you get her, you finally do the thing, and then she turns into a crystal, and you're like, "Are you serious? Are you fucking serious?" I would have been stomping on my hat like an oil driller if that happened to me. Like, dude, I would people wouldn't invite me to parties because it's all I would talk about. I'd be like, no, you don't understand, dude. I was like right there. That would be like my high school football game that almost sent us to the championship. Like, she turned into a fucking crystal, man. We were right there. You almost avenged your homies.
Yeah, this show does have like an incredible air of like being just out of your reach. You know, it's like as soon as they think that they're going to get any sort of thing done, it pulls back, you know, like 10 yards. And it's like, keep coming, keep coming.
Yeah, it's
almost like they're luring the human race out to the edge of the wall. So they can fuck them up.
Oh, so Mr. I don't make conspiracy theories. Look at you now.
Look at me.
Look at you.
Look at this dub.
This is
Son
the
of a
point of the
bitch.
whole show.
Look at this dub slut.
Look at you. You're gonna get a notebook. Next time I see you, you're gonna have a fucking spiral notebook full of bullshit, and you're gonna be like, "All right, here's the thing. I think that Armin is the son of the female Titan."
Yeah, there's gonna be sticky notes all over your car windows and shit.
We'll see.
There's gonna be like, marker marks on your windshield.
marker marks, marky marks.
Mark makes his marker marks.
Mark makes marks of Marky Mark when he parks his car. I enjoyed that Krista. There is a scene that I love where Krista shows up because the men are running low on horses. They're like, "How are we going to initiate this
Low on
ambush?"
horses.
Well, our horses
Such a
keep getting
funny way to put it.
splattered.
It's like we're out of horses.
The horses.
That's how it'd be back
You're
then,
on the
bro.
phone and you're like, "How did you lose 11 horses?" And it's like, "Just bring more." We don't have time.
Like, how many horses you got over there, man? I need some.
And there's this beautiful scene where Krista shows up and she's like, "I brought you guys the horses." And they're all like, "God, I love that girl." Dude, Krista's the best.
That is
Yeah,
super
dude.
funny. Like, I don't even understand really why. Like, she's just nice.
She's bae, bro. I guess. It's funny because I guess you haven't spent that much time with her yet. But it is funny that she shows up and they all immediately are like, "Oh my God, she's a goddess.
She's a
I want to
saint."
marry her. I want to do everything she ever tells me to do."
Yeah, it was the funniest scene.
Yeah.
They were all
Well, it's
enamored.
weird because they've seen her before. You know what I mean?
It was just a breath of fresh air. It's just death. Shit going to shit.
And then
then
fuckable ass bitch shows
and then
up
a
with
miracle
2 horses.
happens. Yeah.
So the point is, through all of this, they capture the female Titan. The female Titan and Eren get into a big fight in the city because they reveal that the female Titan is Annie.
Dunna.
Bum 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 bum
If
bum.
you couldn't tell by the Titan that had a very specific hairstyle that was similar to a somewhat main character in the beginning, you're like, oh.
And now you're even more
You're
confused.
in season 2, so I can't trust you on this because the reveal that the female Titan was Annie, for someone who was watching it episode by episode, it wasn't the biggest dunk, but it was a dunk. People were surprised when that happened.
Really?
It didn't set
Yeah.
the internet on fire. People weren't like, "It's impossible. This can't be." No one was like that, but everyone, maybe 70% of people
Couldn't you-
watching it were like, "Oh."
As soon as she assumed the fighting position in the first fight that she had with Eren, I was like, that's her. Literally, they had the exact same fight in the very beginning
you
during
watched
training.
all these episodes in a row. You didn't watch an episode, have a week, watch an episode, have a week.
I feel like that would
I
just
didn't
give me a
experience
better
that.
opportunity to make that prediction.
Because you have more time to sit on it.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it was
and
a
you're
wild.
like, oh, that looks familiar.
It wasn't a wild speculation, but it was even actually, I'd say, a common speculation, but it was a speculation. It was a reveal. It got everyone. It was the reveal of season 1. Was that, oh snap, there's more than one Titan person. Because then it opens the door to you starting to think, is everyone a Titan? Maybe Mikasa is a Titan. They accused her. And because the Titans have such a breadth of design, they have such a huge scope and scale of design, you wonder, like, if you've seen a Titan that was already a person at some point in the series. Like, I did. I'm like, has there been a Titan that looked like Jean or something? Has there been a Titan that looked like fucking Armin?
The only suspicion that I would have of like any of the Titans so far being human would be the Colossal, the Armored, the Female, and the Naren. Because all the other ones are either just normal Titans or regular abnormals, where they like don't have any discernible.
The one that runs on all fours wasn't interesting to you at all?
No, it's just an abnormal. It moved
Yeah.
fast in the same way that one that did the sissy
It was very
round did.
primal. It wasn't like intelligent.
Yeah, it
at
didn't
all.
strike me as like uncharacteristic of like a regular Titan. It was like, oh, that Titan just moves fast. Like,
But we'll get
the way
to
they
that,
identify
yeah.
abnormals is like the abnormals are typically faster than the rest of them, and then you're like, oh, okay, damn.
Yep. Girl just caught a 200,000-pound heel.
You gotta tell that thing. A Titan picks you up by the string, and you're like, let me go.
Let me go, please. I hope I'm never like that.
Man.
I hope I'm never in a position where I'm begging for my life from a 20-story tall creature. As the blood is getting rended from my body. I wanted to see the female Titan go down. I wanted to see her go down hard because she's mean.
She's unfair. She's a girl that you're playing Soul Calibur with that's just mashing the buttons and kicking your ass.
And she didn't even tell you. You came up playing it on Dreamcast, and she just throws the Xbox controller in your hand and starts beating the shit out of you. You don't even know what's going on. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Nope.
But this whole world is the most unfair. There's not a drop of fairness in this world, actually. I was going to say, I struggle to find an instance where anything is fair. In
Like
this
when
world.
they say uphill battle, this is like climbing a wall. You know? This is the steepest hill you could come up with.
But it is fun. They trap Annie. We learn that she can turn into a Titan. We start to begin the process. We're getting some Titan science going on, where they're trying to figure out the specifics of the Titan. Like, how long does it take for a piece of meat cut off of a Titan to evaporate?
Yeah, are Titan parts heavy?
Are Titans powered by the sun? Are they solar powered? Like, because they say,
why did their bodies dissolve?
why do they slow down at night?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't end up getting really an answer for these in the first season.
Yeah, you don't really get a whole lot of
You get more questions.
Yeah, you end up a little bit. I honestly, by the end of season 1, not counting like the parts of season 2 that I've like seen, it seems I'm more frustrated at the end than I am in the like smack dab in the middle, because like 10 episodes, 12 episodes go by and you're like, I still don't have the answer to the question I had in like episode 4. You know?
Yeah, you still don't know what's in the basement. You still don't know where Aaron's father is. You still don't know where...
Where is he?
But you do get a fresh question because... Well, let's talk about Aaron and Annie fighting in Trohes, or Stois. They're fighting in Stois. Annie has revealed herself because the plan has gone tits up. She's been found out, and... What I love about the fights in this anime is that you kind of don't notice at first, but whenever it's a Titan on Titan fight, or even whenever it's a human on human fight, whenever it's an equally matched fight, they're not throwing out like random punches and kicks. They're not fighting like anime characters normally do. They're actually fighting with actual... It's as if Isayama had two people fight in a room, and then he sketched over them actually being in combat with each other. There's a lot of moments when you see someone like grab someone's elbow and twist it, or try to trip someone's feet.
My favorite part about this is there's jiu-jitsu in here.
Yeah,
there's a lot of jiu-jitsu in this show.
It's like Isayama has to be into jiu-jitsu himself,
or martial arts in general.
Yeah, he's got to watch.
Because the girl Titan throws like a spinning heel kick. Remember?
Yeah.
When Eren goes up against her.
She's choreographing a lot of the moves that she showed him when she was Annie beating his
It's like they animated like all the correct like technique. It's not even like, oh, she threw like a basic spinning like kick. It's like, no, that's like a real fucking move.
Well, I think it's because, this is animated by Wit Studios, and this is, for me, the thing that put them on the fucking map. But it's that when they have Aaron do that like flippy thing, that flip animation in the intro, you know, it's like they have the like da 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 da, and then they just have that slow motion of him flipping through the air. I was realizing, I was like, oh, that's them dunking on other art teams like JC staff, and that's them like showing like, oh no, we'll draw every frame, we'll draw every in between. And that's, I mean, we haven't really spent a lot of time talking about how fucking pretty this show is. This was bar none like the prettiest show of the year when it came out.
So well drawn.
So
You could tell like the outline, like you could see, like you could clearly see the outlines of like the shapes of their faces and their eyes.
It's got really distinct, thick line work, and I just love the gravity of everything. Whenever someone lands on a tree, and I get your problem with the people and their gas usage, because when someone lands, you feel like you hear... It's the little things like when they land, you see their knees bend and then their hips drop as they're dealing with the impact. And then you see like their ankles bend. And it's like, damn, like they really are conveying all of the weight here. Like when the female Titan is smashing humans against walls and stomping on them, the thumping, the thump of the sound
it's
design
accurate, yeah.
is so good, and the bodies have such bounce and thumping, and like it's like Gary's mod but better. It's unbelievable how pretty they make all of this senseless gore.
And it's like so consistent with physics too, aside from the barefoot skiing.
And they do a lot of that. Always happens on thick grass.
No,
I feel
it doesn't.
like.
It happens in the city, and you're like, "That's cobblestone, bitch." No,
Yeah, but they're
fat chance.
They're wearing Nikes.
They got Heelys on. Different story.
But I think that it's also how they dole it out. Like, we just got done watching Trigun.
You know, they could have those carpet shoes that they had in Japan for a while. You see a
those
video
as
of-
seen on TV.
Yeah, you see a video of like 3 dudes playing like breakbeat music, driving down the highway, fucking like got their carpet shoes on, just like walking on the ground at like 80 miles an hour.
It's the fact that every episode, which makes it difficult when you're trying to pull out the pretty scenes. This was one of the first anime to really go in on the idea of like, we're going to make the city as a 3D model, and then we can have the characters zooming all around it all the time. So it's very easy for us to just pan the camera down the hallways and stuff. And what it does, like whenever they're running on the ground, it'll be like a 3D model of the earth that's moving underneath.
or the trees too.
Yeah, and so it makes it very hard to find the Sakuga moments almost, because there's constantly... It makes the animation seem so
Fluid.
that you don't get the traditional scenes like you do in other anime where there'll be almost no motion on the screen,
Or like
a lot of still faces,
Like a
lot
punch.
of-
A punch or a flying kick from Robin in season 1 of Teen Titans, where it's just 2 like stills of characters moving in opposite directions.
With
there's
sound effects.
Yeah, and it's like whoosh.
there's a lot of like character face reaction shot. And don't get me wrong, the facial reactions almost get out of hand in the later seasons.
Oh yeah,
they go deep. Everyone,
I think those are the best moments of the show, are the facial.
no one is
reactions.
reacting. Once you hit season 2.5, no one is reacting. There is only overreacting. The time for reacting has passed.
man, that is crazy about the 3D modeling.
But it makes it all so pretty, man.
It's well done.
They're smart.
It's very well done.
Put this team on the map. Vinland Saga, Cabaneri not as good, but Cabaneri is very pretty though, and Vinland Saga also pretty. And the attention to the kicks and the punches, every elbow lock, every headlock, every kick, every heel hook, all of that stuff is as accurate as I've ever seen in an anime that is not explicitly about the accuracy of the fighting, like a Grappler Baki or a Hajime no Ippo, where it's like it's all about the accuracy.
No, Hajime no Ippo is all about the accuracy too.
But I'm saying this is not an anime about any of that shit.
I know it's weirdly like Like the technique is real.
It's like no tits, great fighting. Fucking serious ass shit.
Right? Like, I feel like, Megalobox is an anime about boxing, and the fighting is less
and none
realistic.
of it is about none of it. It's not actually about like the science of boxing. It's just about how much will the character has.
Yeah, you could learn
It's like
less
he's not
about,
a good boxer. He's just fucking insane, and he does like he just has like the power of will that's like unmatched by anybody else. It's like bullshit, dude.
The only
Like,
thing that can
you
trump
can't
will-
do that. You can't do that in real life.
Watch out for that guy. He's pissed off.
I can't become the greatest skateboarder in the world because I have the will. Like I have like pure will. I need technique. I need fucking like there's none of that shit in
No,
that
you,
show.
you need either will or friendship or some combination of the two.
Yeah, in that world.
That's something I like about this is there's so many people that are so like hard-dicked for like I gotta avenge my family. I gotta like have the same goals as Aaron, all that shit, and just get obliterated like without a moment's notice.
There's people that Aaron's like, I lost my mom and my dad, and they're like, oh, you just lost your parents?
Yeah.
And then the next scene,
Like my entire village was flattened, and you're like, oh, that's not a main character.
So there's people in this who are like, oh, your family was killed by Titans? It's like, my family was raped and murdered by humans who were fleeing the Titans. And so I'm dealing with that. And it's like, oh, geez. And then you'll see that person get killed. And you're like, man, everyone's unfulfilled in this.
Like that guy had a little too much baggage. Aaron's got just the right amount. Dead mom, save your best friend. Dad's parts unknown. It's a perfect combination. It's a little sugar, a little spice.
Anime has taught us that parents are always baggage. Parents just get in the way of you unlocking your... Dude, if your parents were both dead, you could probably like breathe fire and maybe turn into a little dragon or something.
That'd be kind of cool.
Right? If my parents were both dead, I bet that I could like split myself in half into two people, like a dark and a light Nick or something, you know? But we didn't get any of that because both of our parents didn't die in some crazy tragedy.
And then if you split yourself again, the third one's retarded. Because you're not supposed to do it too much.
No, yeah, each one cuts my intelligence in half.
Oh, fuck. That would be terrible. Imagine two of me that are half as smart as one another.
This is
It is not good.
I don't like to use my quirk.
It's not
Like,
a
yeah, I
quirk,
got
really.
superpowers. They're kind of a hassle.
The problem is one time I split myself 4 times and it took me a few days to remember how to
It's like
I
you
had
have
to
the
look it up.
power of flight, but you can't go fast at all.
I dare not think of what splitting myself 5 times would be like.
I had to look it up on WikiHow.
I left myself a very detailed note that I immediately couldn't read as soon as I split myself. I thought I was just smart enough.
Tell you, why do you want with me?
But yes, this female Titan, she gets ambushed. This is such a hopeful scene. I love how much this show every time this show will build you up, you will think this is it.
Every character is if I just do this one thing, it won't be a waste. And it's like, shit, that person's gonna die. I almost anticipate way worse things to happen whenever somebody starts to get optimistic. It's like, get ready for the worst thing you've seen.
Get ready for something to go wrong.
Yeah, it's like, get ready for a new high score on baddest shit this season. Like,
But yeah. But getting back to the fight that happens in the city. So the female Titan and Aaron are fighting. She starts to beat Aaron's ass. But the problem with this show is that because the Titans can heal, it's very hard to gauge how you're doing in a Titan fight. You can get your jaw punched off, and it's like, hang in there. Yeah. Someone gets like their arm literally ripped off. And you're like, you've got her on the ropes. Just punch her with the stump. Just hit her with like the stump of your arm. There's people who punch so hard that their hands break. Which, now you got me questioning how hard a Titan is. What they're made of. Because they shatter a lot. They're like snapping their ankles under the weight. They'll like take a turn too hard and break their own leg.
Well, that's because the regular Titans don't understand anything about like weight distribution. You know what I mean? Where like even the abnormals probably don't understand how much weight that any of their limbs can bear.
Because they're just walking half the time and just eating shit. Like they're gluttonous as they come. You know?
Yeah. When she starts trying to escape the city, because the female Titan's like, well, the jig is up. Everyone knows who I am now. I guess I got to get out of here. And Annie starts to make a run for it. Aaron goes like full fiery explosion psycho mode.
Freaks out.
He puts on Travis Barker and he's like, wow! And he jumps on her. Annie's trying to...
Wow, that's death grips, Aaron, dog.
And so Annie's trying to climb out of the city with her freshly done fingernails. And Mikasa comes in, slices that bitch's hand off, and causes her to plummet to the ground. Annie seals herself inside the crystal, and that's our close of season 1. That's where we're left to ponder what the fuck we've just dealt with. And that's what I did.
You glossed over the fact that Aaron bitched out when he saw her crying. he like beats the shit out of her, rips open the nape of her neck, sees her crying after wanting to kill her so fucking bad.
After wanting to kill all Titans.
Sees a couple tears, and all of a sudden the burden of the world as it is just melts away, and he's like, man, that bitch is sad. I don't want to fuck her up. Like,
I gotta
it's
smash.
such a weird thing to happen where it's like, I know that the pause mistake is a big thing in anime, but that was not a good moment. Like, it was like, that was not a believable moment for it. Even if, I mean, I don't know, even if he didn't want to kill her, he's like, oh, I have to.
Yeah, it's like this badge on my fucking, like, on my cape or whatever, it says I have to kill her. Like, as a member of the military,
Yeah.
Do you know how many soldiers have had to shoot children? It's like, dude, get over it. This woman has splattered, not just killed, splattered your homies, man. Had fun
all
killing
your
them.
closest
Like
friends.
more of them could die if you let this one go.
Yeah, and
More
it's
of
like,
them will die.
on top of that, most Titans don't have any sort of distinction of who they're killing. She is cognizant.
She's picking people to
Yeah.
kill.
Not even necessarily picking people, but very aware of the fact that these are like precious people.
Insofar as you can ascertain that she had a plan, no one that she has killed needed to die.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
She could have done a stealth mission. She chose not to.
That's not the style of this show, man. What motherfuckers you know doing stealth missions in any part of this show right now?
It's this show is the best, man. This is a strong season 1, but I guess
I mean, technically, every time they're out of the wall, outside the wall, it's a stealth mission.
That's true.
It has to be. Everything has to be a stealth mission.
Damn, fucking the girl in what's his face's squad? Not Jean.
Levi's?
Yeah, the girl in Levi's squad. When I
Petra?
saw her die, or when I saw her dead body, like just chin leaned up against the tree, you're like, fuck, man. And you're
Because
like that.
I thought I was gonna like see these characters for like the whole rest of the show.
Yeah.
And then they're just gone.
It seems like specifically they're like the creator of the show must have based some of his like positioning on dead body drawings on like, I'm sure some source material. You know, like he had to have just been looking at pictures of dead bodies for like a minute and being like, how can I make this look especially gruesome?
we just saw Aaron blow out his own elbow, his own radius and ulna, punching the ground so hard. I love the wanton amount of violence that you're allowed to have when you can just rapid heal.
Well, it's funny too. Whenever like he gets her pinned, she has this like innocent, like helpless look on her face, and you're like, dog, she is trying to trick. She's tricking you with the pussy.
She's tricking you with the front bottom, bro. She's using the front bottom against you.
But
And now you're straddling her like a Ken doll, looking like a weirdo.
But after we see Annie get encased in the ice or whatever like that, you see the
Ice on my neck.
yeah, ice got me chilly. But we see the what's the scientist
them
lady's
birds
name?
shivering.
What's the scientist lady's name?
Henge.
Henge. Henge's like, yo, we need to get this bitch underground stat. And you're like, oh, shit, that's like, it's like they're learning on the job where they're like, we can't afford to keep this person above ground. We need to separate them from freedom as much as possible. And then at the very tail end of the episode, go through all the credits, you see like a little bit of piece fall off of the wall that homegirl got her fingers up in. You see a big old Titan eye. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, what's that about?
That's a dunk.
Yeah.
That's how you dunk on them.
Yeah, and I've even watched the first couple episodes of the second season, and I'm like,
That eye.
fuck.
That's when he went from being Hajime Isayama to being the Yams, bro.
The goat.
I still think about that eye. I still think about it to this fucking day, man. I still think, what's going on in there, man?
Aaron just cannot make a connection. He needs to learn how to fight.
He will. He will, I hope. I mean, humanity depends on him learning how to fight. But yeah, so season 1 ended. It was a barn burner, man. Everyone was hype, and there was a 4-year gap between season 1 and season 2 that you didn't have to deal with. That broke.
I heard other people dealing with it though.
It cut the
Like
fan base in half.
Yeah, people forgot about the show apparently.
It literally, in terms of viewership, cut the fan base of this show in half. Because it's hard, man. It's hard to stick around for 4 years waiting with bated breath.
But I don't know. It's at the end of the day, season 1 was the weakest season in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, by a long shot. But compared, what do you mean really?
I don't think that's a popular opinion.
What? Season 2 and 3 crushed this season.
According to my friend who's
Season
watching
3, part
it,
1, I thought was... All right, we can't talk about this.
I was watching it with a friend and watching the intro to season 2, and I saw something that I was like, you have to be fucking kidding me. I'm talking about the beasts, and I was like, this looks like it could get stupid. And my friend looks at me and he's like, oh yeah, no, a bunch of people fell off at this point and it got a little bit weird. And I was like, interesting. I'll have to see what happens.
Because season 3 part 2, man, is like,
Because that pulled me in even harder.
Oh yeah,
Way harder. I was like, this is so intriguing.
every season of this show, as you get to the end of it, it is like, oh my god! For anyone who is still here, you've got to get caught up because we're gonna have another 2 episodes on this in celebration. But man, you'll see, we might be witnessing the birth of a modern classic, and no one thought that at the end of season 1. I'll say that. It really, honestly, I think it was the end of season 3, part 2. I don't think. It dawns on you that this show isn't slowing down. It's for me anyway. It didn't like. I don't know when Attack on Titan went from being a very good show. I don't know when it went from being a pretty good show to being a very good show to where we are now, where I can comfortably say it is the hottest piece of anime media this year. I don't know when that switch happened. I think it happened in season 3 for me.
Yeah, part 2.
Yeah, it does the thing, man. You got to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get caught up. It does the thing.
I'll need a few days to finish season 2.
You could do it tonight.
I will be watching it until I fall asleep.
You could get to season 4 tonight.
I will be watching it until I fall asleep.
Dude, it's
That
a
is
master.
all you will get from me.
Can you guys think of another anime that's made you ask this many questions without getting angry?
Not off the top of my head currently.
Because my problem with Naruto is it kept trying to answer questions. Like, my problem with... I guess I have a lot
Hunter
of...
x Hunter, no, that was like a enjoy the ride kind of thing where it's
Yeah,
like
you learn as you go.
Yeah, it's like I could give a shit less what happens at the end of Hunter x Hunter. It's just been a nice ride.
No,
Yeah, no
when
point-
Hunter x Hunter comes at me like waves, I go through times like when I was in the Greed Island arc, I was like, where is this going? But then when I'm in York New City, I was like, all right, we can just chill with the gang. I'm down with just hanging
But,
with the
like,
crew.
with
Greed Island seemed like the best place for me to just. I mean, like I kind of wanted to get it over with through at the halfway point, but it was one of the more like, whatever on this season kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know how it all factored into the story.
The Chimera Ant like arc was the one that I was like,
Yeah,
I was like
I was on the edge of
freaking
my
out
seat.
towards the end of
I
it.
just finished.
Can't
it.
talk
Yeah,
about
you're
it.
like,
Can't talk about it. Got to talk about it later.
Okay.
Because he just finished.
Oh no, I'm not gonna
Like
divulge.
yesterday.
I'm just saying
Like
that
today.
arc
Today?
That
Yeah.
arc specifically is very good. I'm like,
Yeah, no, we have to have we'll have a build up to Hunter x Hunter in preparation of the 2021 release of season 7.
yeah. And for the next episode, I will be attempting to come at y'all with all manner of indexical information on my descriptions of the Titans. I will tell you which ones I hate, why I hate them, and the ones I like, and maybe why I like them.
Yeah, I guess you guys got anything else to say about this show?
It sucks.
Yeah, season 1 does suck.
You're crazy. You're gonna go to prison.
I hope he's right, and season 2 and 3 are just that much better.
They
From
are
the start, season 2 immediately.
I like season 2, so I'm in like it's episode 3 or 4 right now, and I'm like, damn! Like as soon as I saw your guy, I was like, nice. I was like, that's a cool guy.
That's my favorite guy, man.
Fuck yeah! I can't wait to talk about him.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
you're in the danger zone for me where I dare not even say because for me I'm like every word is a spoiler.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I feel like this episode feels like I'm walking on like a line, a cable line
Yeah, man,
across
it's not
the
that
Twin
hard.
Towers.
You just got to put yourself where your brain was in 2014 when you watched this. Oh wait, no, I'm kidding. Sorry guys, but yeah, this has been a fucking episode. Damn, we're just under 2 hours exactly.
nice.
Yeah, peep the website. Peep
Check
the
the
Patreon.
check the IG.
Yeah, the IG's been coming up. I'm filling out the YouTube. The YouTube's actually starting to have stuff happen on there, but it's grown. You'll find out. You'll see it. You won't be able to avoid it. You won't be able to stop it, even if you try your best.
Even if you turn your notifications off.
Right? But until next week, until next time,
It's been splendid.
yeah.